タクミ、ひどいこと聞いていい？タクミはさ、自分の人生終わったと思った？
思わない。終わってない。生きてるから。
Because I'm still waiting for you to click that like button and to subscribe and the post notification button.
I've been trying to figure out what's the best way to introduce this anime and talk about this anime that's gonna grab your attention and make you interested in this anime that I want to talk about. And I thought multiple times about how I could introduce this anime, maybe like use keywords like it's the best written anime of last season or anime of the year but no one's really gonna recognize it or sleeper of the year. I had a bunch of ideas about how I want to introduce, but ultimately, to be honest with you, I was trying to figure out how could I sell or draw people's attention to this anime that I feel like needs to be spoken about and loved. I think the only thing that I can do in respect of what this anime does, just be as vulnerable and as candid as I can be, as I walk you through why I think this anime is so special and why it's something that I feel like a lot of people need to watch. The anime, and I'm sure you've seen footage of it right now in this video, is called Journal with Witch. Before I actually start talking about this anime and everything that it does that is just so amazing, I should tell you the premise. That's how it works. We follow a girl called Asa. Asa goes through an incident where her parents lose their lives in an accident. It's gruesome, it's really dark, and it's the first episode. Now, what happens is that she has to move in with her aunt, who is a novelist. And what happens as they stay together, as we're watching this girl who went through this crazy tragedy, is pretty profound, because you're gonna understand why I'm having difficulty at this moment, but that is basically the premise of the anime. Now, the thing about this anime is that initially, it seems rather simple. A girl just lost her parents and we're gonna be dealing with a lot of grief. That's what it seems like it was going to be. Because at the beginning of the anime, we notice, oh, her aunt is called Makio. We notice that her aunt is very weird, very straightforward, but also has a lot of life advice that is very straightforward to the point. Express yourself, don't let anyone dictate how you should feel. A lot of very good, profound advice that, honestly speaking, is something you would want from an adult, but it's a bit weird that she's giving it to a child, but it's kind of in a good way. Because initially within this anime, Makio seems to almost be this guide for Asa. Now, what you'll learn within the story is that Makio went through a situation with Asa's, because she's the aunt, Asa's mother is her sister. They went through a lot of friction. It seems as though, based on the relationship, Makio really resented her sister, and the lessons that she keeps on teaching Asa almost rebel against everything that her sister taught her, which is kind of rightful, because based on some of the things that her sister would do, they would hurt her. And ultimately, Makio seems to be teaching Asa at the beginning that maybe you should actually take the advice of an adult who's been through something bad, and maybe this will help you. Now, initially, this is very profound. In fact, this was one of the reasons why I love this anime, because as someone who has difficulty with grief, I thought to myself, what beautiful advice. Telling someone to be themselves, live in the emotions, don't hide them, just be as human as you can be, don't be afraid. And I really like that, because I felt like a lot of the advice that you need in life always gets given to you way later. But to actually see this adult trying to give all of these gems to this young child seemed like the most beautiful thing ever, because she's teaching her a lot of things that a lot of adults struggle with. And as such, this anime really has this profound feeling of just feeling as though not only is Makio guiding Asa, if you're a person who dealt with grief and really struggled with it, this felt like an anime that was going to help you with grief. And something that, honestly speaking, I really related with a lot. I felt like this was an anime that was going to help me learn to get over it, because honestly speaking, I'm not over it. And as I kept on watching the episodes, Makio just keeps on dropping these gems, and it's this amazing experience where you're learning about this. But gradually, the anime starts to shift a bit more. You start to realize that Makio is flawed. Now, it's very clear that because of what's happened in her own life, she's not this person who's found all of these answers. In fact, it almost seems like she has this approach of don't be like me. So her advice is good, but when you look at her, you're like, maybe you should do that for yourself, but she doesn't. And at times, she becomes this very questionable person. Because Asa is dealing with grief and going through different stages, she has these points where she will actually question Makio, and you'll realize that actually some of the things that she's been telling you are a bit questionable. And the challenge challenging aspect of this anime is almost like this person who's hurt and broken kind of fighting their guide. Now the thing is, Makio is not this girl's guide. Makio is just another human being. She's just telling Asa the best advice she can based on her own experiences and what she thinks is the proper approach. That does not mean that it's correct, but the problem is when you're dealing with grief and all of these emotions, when a few things work, you think that Makio is this person who will guide you. And in fact, within the anime, Makio has a lot of scenes for Asa where it feels like Makio is this guide. And like I said, she feels that way. But as time passes and you start to question her actions, you realize that she's not this guide. She's just this person who has advice, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good, especially when you deal with her kind of being a hypocrite or realizing that she's flawed. I feel like I haven't seen an anime really approach that advice and that approach of dealing with someone who's trying to help you but not really in a minute. Because honestly speaking, I saw both sides of the story. You can see what Makio is doing. It does make sense in a relative sense, but the practicality of being a human doesn't always mesh with those ideas. You can always tell someone, and this is something that I loved about this anime. There are always moments in this anime where you will notice that someone can always tell you the right thing, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna connect with you and actually help you. Just like how if you're a person who's dealing with grief or something that's happened to you, everyone's got good advice. Everyone's got ideas or things that they can tell you. But even if they're good, sometimes depending on your emotional state, they're not gonna affect you. And this is something funny enough that Makio actually mentions way later, but initially this anime really sells itself as something that's going to help you deal with grief. But this is not necessarily true, because as you learn and watch more things within this anime, it starts to evolve into being something more than just an anime about grief. It starts to become an anime about life. And this is one of the reasons why I said it's going to be really hard for me to really break down this anime. It starts having a lot of these plot lines for different characters within the story that depending on what you're going through, you'll relate. Though some characters I felt and some characters I didn't feel. And that is why it's really difficult for me to discuss that anime in a really hardcore way, because if someone told you, tell me everything about life in a way that's going to apply to everyone, I don't think it's possible. But this anime, in its world and the topics that it discussed, had this ability of really just evolving more and more. Yes, Asa is the main character. Yes, she's dealing with grief in this situation, but it evolves into so many things where she starts to question herself, standing out, people dealing with situations where they're wondering about their lives. In fact, a lot of them are flawed, but then the children are flawed. So you have like flawed people trying to help each other in a certain way, and it's kind of like extremely confusing, but it makes sense because that's what life is. But within the story, you start to realize that it becomes bigger than Asa. There's so many plot lines, and one of the reasons why I think this anime can apply to so many people. Everyone has something about them that they need help with or they haven't addressed. And yet this anime just kind of has this ability of just going over these topics in the most natural way. Because there's something that I really enjoy about this anime that I feel like a lot of people should actually take note of, is the fact that it actually really wants to emphasize the fact that it's not here to help you. It's honestly just a depiction of this girl's journey with her aunt. That's what it is. But what you're going to see is a bunch of life experiences and things that might make you cry, might make you happy, but they're going to make you feel something, especially once you connect. But it's not going to fixate on them. It's Asa's story relatively, so we're going to focus on her. But there'll be moments and sprinkles of these other characters around her where you're like, damn, I relate to that person, but they're gone. And honestly speaking, I like this sort of writing because it's really true to life. Because we're going to pass by a lot of people who are going through so many things, but in your journey, you don't know what's going to happen. You might know a little bit about, oh, that person's going through something, but then when you pass by them, your life carries on, it's about you. I kind of like that harsh reality about that, because even at the end of the anime, I'm not going to spoil too much, there's a lot of unanswered things. And I like that because it really is like, this is life, bro. We're not just going to like figure out that everything happened and everything's happy. No, it's just life. And as such, this anime is maybe the most realist depiction of life in the most funkiest way ever, because it went from being an anime that was about grief to ultimately just being an anime about life and showing us just how messed up people are, but not like in a sadistic anime way, but just in a presentation and a fashion that makes you realize that, man, life is really hard for everybody. And this is one of the reasons why I enjoyed this anime, and I think it's so special in itself. And side notes, it's only like 13 episodes, so it's not that long if you want to like watch it. This was one of the more better written anime of last season. It thrives on this whole mentality of just talking about a lot of things, but in a human fashion. Not everything's resolved, not everyone's fixed, not everyone's gonna get better, but they'll try their best if they feel motivated or if something affects them in a certain fashion. But it's not this wholesome anime because the entire season is just real. And I think that in terms of just being an anime fan, it's so easy to detach yourself from an anime because it's an anime. This anime is trying to show you life. It's trying to be an anime that is actually trying to be real. And I like that. I felt like that was something so unique and special about this anime, and one of the reasons why I fell for it. And that connection as an anime fan is something that I think is so powerful that you just have to respect it and acknowledge it. And as such, this anime is a very powerful anime because it will make you feel so many things. And these are the reasons why I think this anime is so special and just so fun and just this ride. But it depends. I feel like it's one of those anime that will find you at the right time, but it's a really good anime in that sense. Now, to be negative, because I have to be, the one thing that I will say about this anime that will maybe get you a little flustered is near the end. Because it really tries to replicate a lot of like the spontaneous aspects of life, sometimes the storylines are all over the place, especially with other characters if you're invested in what they're going through, because again, you're following one person really, or two. That can really rub people off the wrong way, and I feel like the ending was a little shaky, but maybe that's just me. But maybe that's also a thing about it that I should respect. If you watched the anime and you finished it, let me know what you think in terms of the ending, but it's interesting. If you like super crazy animation, might not be the anime for you, but in terms of just a good look, does the job. If you're not about an anime that's about feeling and really talking with you, this won't be the anime for you. Plus also the whole relatability. If you don't relate, it's just going to be a long-winded anime that you're just like, okay, please stop. So I understand that. But overall, in terms of this anime, I enjoyed the experience. I think that this is a really special anime. I think that for me, this anime was an anime that helped me feel a lot of things. And when an anime can do that for me, it's something special and something that I'll cherish. And I'm sure for other people, it made them feel something too. And ultimately, as a creator, that's something you want people to experience. And I think it does its job. I think that it's an anime that I didn't expect would be this good, but maybe that's the fun about it. And maybe this is a bit of a pet peeve. The name is just interesting. Journal with Witch. I kept on saying Journal with the Witch, but sure, Journal with Witch. Just doesn't come off the tongue correctly. I think that the OST is amazing, really good. It creates a lot of feelings and vibes. I like the opening, I like the ending music. In fact, I don't want to spoil, but either way, my ultimate goal is for people who haven't watched this anime to watch it. And for those who have watched it, honestly, it's just about me sharing this experience with you, and maybe we can trade our experiences and just talk as humans. That's really the aim. So overall, I think that the anime that really emphasizes talking about things and dealing with things made me talk about it and also like discuss and deal with things. So I think it did a pretty amazing job.